Hey everyone, Felix from Nintendo Life here, and if you have a Nintendo Switch, chances are you have a boatload of games. But what if you could only keep one of them? I have two fingers up, but only one of them. You could only keep one of them. Well, I'm here to talk all about it with Sion. First, let's just do it. Let's just go with it.
I'm ready to talk about the Switch.
We also have Alex looking very smug.
Does it come across as smug? I'm not sure what face I was pulling, but I was
It
pulling
came off
puff
as
face.
like duck face for me, like you were getting
Wow,
ready
duck
to take a
face,
selfie.
that's aging us, isn't it? Look at us, old millennials.
But it's not only us that are going to talk about what are like one game we could keep on our Switch. We also asked our community tab, so we'll be going through a lot of those comments before we reveal what our games would be. So why don't we start off with the first comment by Bug AJ187. My physical copy of Cuphead. It was the last gift my mother gave me. I can certainly understand why that would be the reason to keep it if, like, I also have really close memories with my mother. Like, my favorite movie of all time is Avengers Infinity War because that was the last movie I got to watch with my mother. So I totally get it. Also, Cuphead, amazing game. You can see it right there. I love it. Cuphead
He's
is
right
great.
there. I can see why you definitely treasure something like that. Not only that, but it's also an incredible game. Like, I love Cuphead to death, and it is endlessly replayable. Like, I don't think I'm ever going to get through the hard mode, just because it
Takes a lot of patience.
It's quite hard. But yeah, I think that's a solid pick.
Yeah, a game with a good challenge can definitely last you a long time if you have the patience to sit down and
I
see
think
through.
at one point you just reach like this Zen mode where you just, you don't even get angry about all the hardness. Just, this is my life now. I did manage to get the like P rank in all the running gun levels, so you can get like a cool little extra thing.
Oh
If you
yeah, that's
haven't
the
done that.
pacifist
Yes,
or something, isn't
you
it?
get like a cool. I won't spoil it. You get something. But what do you also get? You also get the next comment read out by, oh my god, Alex. Take it away.
Oh, it's me. Oh, my word. Yes, from Wingfeather7792. I've sunk over 300 plus hours, over 300 plus hours into Smash Ultimate, and it's my most played Switch game by far. My next longest game is Metroid Dread at 40 hours. But we said one. Oh, some people. I'm joking. Thank you for commenting. All the challenges, all the spirits, all the additional content to make it the best Smash game ever made, and I'm always giddy when I pick up the game to continue leveling up my amiibo. An obvious example, and not to downplay it because it's a great example as well, because come on, sort of anything that's sort of multiplayer focused or anything to that extent like Smash where it's kind of pick up and play. Classic example. If you can only have one, how many different modes can you play in Smash? Variety is the spice of life.
There's also just so many different characters, so when you get tired of one, you can pick up a new one. And there's like tons of YouTube videos where you can, this is how you play this character. And they just have so much depth. So much time must have gone into like the balancing and all of it. I mean, Smash Ultimate is also the game I have the most hours in just because it's so addicting. Just one more game. Like I also play quite a few at lunchtime. So a good pick. Very good pick.
Yeah. I don't hear a lot of people talking about the amiibo aspect of Smash either. So
No.
it's cool to hear that this Wingfeather fellow is seriously like maximizing their time with Smash by doing everything possible.
Also, look at that range between like 300 plus hours, and then the next most played is 40 hours. So they really like Smash Bros.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't even know how many hours I've got because I've spread it out over multiple Switches, and Nintendo doesn't track things properly, so thanks. But I imagine that I'm probably pushing... I know that on my original Switch, I was on over 800 hours on Smash.
Wow.
So I think by now I've probably got over 1,000. Definitely slowed down over the last few years because I've had other games to play and other things to do with my life.
That happens. Eventually, a new game will come along that sucks up all your time again.
But an old game that might suck up all your time. So, why don't you read this one?
Yeah, so this is by Tomato.
There's no question mark there, Sion.
Tomato. Breath of the Wild, hands down. It was my first Zelda game and the one that introduced me to the series. Amazing gameplay, exploration, and characters. Even the unintentional parts like the glitches are fun to pull off. I've got around 2,000 hours? What? I certainly thought that was a typo. 2,000. I've got around 2,000 hours on it and have done everything in it except for Korok. I wish I could say the same positive things about Tears of the Kingdom. Ah, interesting.
Okay. Explain me this. How do you have 2,000 hours and haven't collected all the coins? That is incredible.
That's a good point.
That's someone who really has enjoyed the game and just like walks around and takes in the atmosphere.
Yeah, they're like they live like a second life within Breath of the Wild almost. Like they go have dinner in there, role play. Like,
I mean, I kind of did that when I was on holiday once. Like, I think it may have been the first, maybe the second year of the Switch. I'm not 100% sure, but I had Breath of the Wild, and my wife, who wasn't my wife then, we both went to this little cabin in the woods. This little cabin in the woods, and it wasn't a horror film, which was very good. And
good, you're still here.
Yeah, but we basically, like, we just went there just to relax, just to get away from it all, and we had very little signal on our phones, which is a positive sometimes, honestly. But we did have Breath of the Wild, and we shared it. Like, she would play for a number of hours, then I would play for a number of hours. That was largely all we did on that holiday. Like, we did go out and do some things, but more than anything, it was such a wonderful escape, and I'm always going to love the game for that fact alone.
I mean, Breath of the Wild is my favorite game of all time. I have quite a few hours in it. Not 2,000. I might have like 300 hours or something like that. But I absolutely love it to death.
Yeah.
I wouldn't pick it myself because I've already spent so much time in it. And I think right now I'd be like, I've already done, I haven't done the Koroks either, but I felt like I really did everything I could. And it's, if I could choose a game that I hadn't played, I would also choose Breath of the Wild. But
Yeah.
that's not what I'm doing here today. You'll have to be patient to find out.
I've never collected done all the shrines in Breath of the Wild, but I remember
Really?
like after
that's a
finishing the main campaign, I remember having this feeling that I wanted the game to never end.
Yeah.
And so I kind of wanted to push it out for as long as possible. And that's not like, I just do that with games sometimes. Like I think we all kind of do. We put down a thing with intent to go back and never do. But I think, yeah, Breath of the Wild could be the one for me as well.
But it's not the only answer we've received, is it?
No,
Phoenix?
and it's not the one I would choose. But Kelly Rove 4075. Tears of the Kingdom for sure. It's a massive toy box with endless things to do. Of course, you can play the game as intended. There's so different things to do. Try a speedrun, create a challenge run, take a hike through the beautiful scenery, play Pokemon Snap with the compendium, toss Koroks around, play minigames, even learn basic physics with the Sonai devices. I would have picked Breath of the Wild, but I find it can feel lonely in comparison, and without the sky and depths, there just isn't as much to do.
I think that's fair. There's not as much to do, but at what cost?
Yeah, it's an age-old debate, and one that will no doubt people will still be having 10 years from now. Which of the two is better? Tears of the Kingdom, there's more stuff to do. Undeniably, there's more stuff to do. Breath of the Wild, arguably a pure experience. Can't we just enjoy both of them for their own merits?
No, you can
rather
only
than
pick
pitting
one,
them?
Alex.
It's a series of games. Surely nobody will mind if we sneak 2 cartridges onto the island, right?
Get a 2-in-1 special edition from Nintendo. Oh no, the public aren't supposed to know about that.
Oh, jeez.
This is a joke, by the way. Nintendo, don't come after us. That was a really good comment, though. I really liked it. Very in depth, and it does. I'm sure a lot of people would choose Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I certainly think it's going to be one of those games that like most people will not do everything, so it could last. It could last forever.
Just like the next one from Angry Jetpack, although maybe it wouldn't last forever, but it is flippin' big. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Anyone who's played it knows exactly why, and if this gets into the video, sorry about that. Explain the story for me without spoilers, please, and thank you.
Well, Alex,
Felix,
take it
why
away.
did you put this in? Okay, so it's been a while since I played it, so let me do...
This is without spoilers, right?
Yeah, without spoilers.
Okay, cool.
He just said that it had to be without spoilers. He got you, Sion.
There's basically...
Of course, just wanted to make sure.
There's basically 2 factions, and they're fighting all the time, and they hate each other. Oh no, the 2 factions are fighting, and sometimes one gets the advantage, and then the other fights back, and whoa! And then it turns out that, war's stupid, and you got small a small little group from each, and they get thrust together and they have to survive together, and they realize that maybe the other side, they're not so bad after all, and that's as spoiler-free as I can get.
That was actually really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very excited to play it one day. I've only heard good things.
I want to finish it. I've played probably about 20, 30 hours in it. I know that's a jump of 10 hours, a good 50%, but I can't remember. I really, really enjoy it, but it's just one of those things where I think I should pick it up again, and it's like, but I've got to do the cooking in 4 hours. I'm not sure whether that's long enough to get a session in.
Yeah, it doesn't really seem like the kind of game that like you can kind of throw on and just do other stuff, unless you're doing like some grinding, I guess. But even so, you still have to be like, it's not a turn-based RPG. You have to be active for it. I was really surprised by like, you know, sifting through these comments and seeing what everyone had to say. I was surprised how many people mentioned any of the Xenoblade games on Switch. There was a lot of responses.
Oh, and incidentally, thank you to everyone who left a comment, even if you're not featured.
Yeah, there was like, what was it, 700 comments in the end or something?
Oh, I don't know. It's been a while since I looked.
I feel like I read all of them. I'm not sure if, like, I spent like an hour the other day just reading comments.
There was 580 lovely comments. So, thank you so much.
580.
Yeah,
that's my favorite darts score. You can't get 580 in darts.
Speaking of 580, Cy Raven 76 says Pikmin 4. I just adore that game.
Pikmin 580.
I know, right? Find the relation. I dare you. I just adore that game. Even though I finished it, it has so much replayability and even has another game within the game with the Olimar story. Ah, right. Yeah. I remember you really being excited about that, Alex.
Yeah, it's great. It's basically like it's almost like a condensed Pikmin 1 within Pikmin 3. It's a really interesting idea, and it reminds me of something, but I can't think of what. You just like when you buy a game and there's like another classic game in there, but it's kind of truncated. Let me know in the comments what I'm thinking of. Thanks, mind readers.
Resident Evil 4 had a thing where it was like you beat the game and then you get like separate ways with Ada Wong.
The original Animal Crossing, there's also like NES games that you can play.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's definitely not that though, because I've never played the original Animal Crossing except for work.
Pikmin 4 is really great. I started playing it. I absolutely love it. For some reason, I stopped, and then I tried to get back into it, and it's like, no, I don't remember what's happened. I need to restart it. I really want to do it one day, because I absolutely loved it. I don't know what happened. Listen, Alex, I'm playing other stuff right now, but I will soon.
Listen.
Actually, I am playing what the next comment is talking about. So why don't we hear what Cryhounds has to say? Hands down, Hades. It's the game that made me cry twice. So the game is worth it for the story alone, but it's also just so well designed for accessibility. It's the game I've played the most, yet it's one of the only games I will still sit down and play for hours. It's just so fun. There's always something to do, but it doesn't feel overcrowded. With a fully upgraded House of Hades, the late game feels almost cozy. But if I ever start getting bored, I know I can start the game over, but it'll be freaking brutal. I can even toggle difficulty modes at will. It's really incredible. That you're right with. Hades is a work of art, and I'm absolutely consumed by it right now. No, it's not even funny. Whenever I have time, like not playing anything, I pick up my lovely Switch, which is right here, play Hades. If I could choose a game right now to keep, it would be Hades, because I do not want to stop playing. Yeah, I do not want to stop playing the game. It's one of the best games I've ever played. I remember playing it back when it came out on the Switch. I played it till the credits, and I was like, yeah, that was a really good game. And then I didn't really play it more, but there's so much more content after that. So I restarted around here recently, and me and my girlfriend, who's playing it for the first time, we just both in love with this game. It's just so incredibly good. Have you guys played Hades before?
I have played it not extensively, I hasten to point out. I think I probably got about 10 hours or so into it, and I don't know why I stopped. It certainly wasn't for a lack of love for the game. It is excellent, but just other things, get in the way. Life gets in the way, and I've never managed to get back into it. And I've had a similar thing. I think part of that is actually the roguelite just sort of style of it, and that's not a knock against it, but I think it's just part of the nature of the beast, sort of the starting over again and yet also making progress makes it at least sometimes more difficult to pick back up again. That's probably just a me thing, though. Certainly not a knock on the game.
I feel like 100% the same. I put about 10 hours into it and put it down and would like to go back to it someday, especially after, like, you talked about that documentary that came out from NoClip. I'm very interested in watching that and want to play the game through.
He's off!
He wants to show his physical edition.
Right here.
Whoa,
Yeah.
that looks like a VHS case. It's not.
It kind of does.
Yeah, if anyone has
that'd
the
be nice.
opportunity, please check out this documentary. So good. Like, really,
Developing
really incredible
hell.
by NoClip. And so cool to have physically. But yeah, Hades, well, I really hope you guys get better into it in the future, because there's just so much depth. And for me, it's perfect for the Switch, because it's like you do one run. It's so easy to just like 30 minutes or something. If you have 30 minutes, just do a little run, pick a new weapon. Each weapon feels so different. And the different boons from the gods, it will make like, oh, suddenly this attack, which I've never used, is so overpowered, so I'll use that all the time. And there's so much voice acting. It's incredible. Everything is just voice acted, and there's almost no repeated dialogue. Oh, it's great. Well, that was me rambling about Hades. That was my game.
We'll get into it.
Yeah,
maybe Alex and I can agree to finish it before Hades 2 comes out, because Hades 2 looks awesome as well. Or comes out on Switch, rather, I should say, because it's in early access
kind of
right
out
now.
early access, yeah, but it's not out on Switch. So it doesn't count, guys. It doesn't count.
Ooh, this next one, though, you loved this game, Alex, right?
Well,
Let me sip my tea.
Phosphene6086 says Pokemon Violet. As a 31-year-old who grew up with, or rather was obsessed with, Pokemon, I kind of felt obligated to buy Pokemon from Black onwards. It just didn't have the same vibe anymore. It was going through the motions. Violet really gave me that feeling of exploring and going on an adventure again. For that alone, it's one of my favorite games ever. And I think that's a great thing, because as much as I complain about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, if someone's finding joy in it, I'm not going to be annoyed at that. I'm not, because it's not fair. I still think that the game is riddled with issues, but I can't be annoyed at somebody for taking pleasure in it. What kind of a monster would I be if I did that?
Yeah. I mean, I feel you. Like, it's not that we're, like, I guess we're all in the world of journalism, right? And so we have to kind of put everything under a microscope. I just started playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on PS5, and graphically it doesn't look as good as I would have hoped for a PS5 game. And last night I was having thoughts about, like, I wonder if, like, 10 years down the road, I'm going to be thinking to myself, man, I can't believe I played that game on PS5 when it runs so much better on the Pro or runs better on PC or whatever. And I think right now I'm kind of in this bubble where, I'm playing the best version I have and the only version I have. And maybe something like this will happen with Pokemon Violet down the road. Maybe it'll get updated, or maybe this person will look back and say, like, man, I can't believe I put up with all those bugs. But right now they are having a blast, and that is really nice. That's the best thing that any developer or we can hope for as well. That was a bit of a tangent. But the next game, oh gosh, I wholeheartedly loved, is Pokemon Legends Arceus. And this is from Gilly Beanie. Pokemon Legends Arceus, because that game was the actual game of what I experienced in my imagination as a 10-year-old playing Pokemon Blue version. It might not have been pretty, it might not have blown me away visually, but I didn't need it to in order to be fully immersed and having so much fun. I agree. Yeah, like getting the chance to run around and sneak up on Pokemon and chuck a ball at them and get beaten down by a Snorlax that's way too high level, or just the fact that it's a Snorlax, it was such a fun experience. And looking back at it too, yeah, it maybe graphically isn't the showcase for the Switch, but it is just a fun game, isn't it?
It is. I really, really love Arceus, and it makes me more worried about ZA. Not going to go into that in any detail, of course, but, the fact that it was this kind of lightning in a bottle moment, it kind of came out of nowhere. And I think everyone's expectations were, like, fairly low, because the initial reveal, like, it had Pokemon in the distance running at very low frame rates and stuff like that. And it's not a visual, it's not a masterclass visually or anything like that, but they focused on fun. And it really works. And yeah, you do feel like, oh my god, this is what Pokemon would kind of be like in real life. To a degree, I hasten to point out. But yeah, it makes you feel, way more like you're in like a real world of Pokemon rather than this kind of Pokemon-themed theme park, if that makes any sense.
From what I played, I quite liked it. I wasn't as grabbed.
I forgot you don't like it.
No.
Here comes Felix with the downer.
I've never said I don't like Legends Arceus. Maybe I have. Someone pull up the clip.
I think you have.
But from what I played, it was all right. I just didn't get grabbed as much as you two and a lot of other people. Like,
Sure.
It was okay, but I thought, I don't know. I don't think I gave it enough of a chance, and that's on me. So, yeah, I can totally... It's a very big game, so there's lots of content, so it's a great pick to choose. But a game that really hooked me and that I've put loads of hours into, well, this next person is also talking about it. Chris Pork, 1443. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Always stand for a game of Mario Kart with friends. Aren't you right? At least I really want to play this game if I can play online. Otherwise, it would get a bit lonely. Because it's not as fun to play alone. I mean, you can get friends over, but not all the time. Online is always there, unless the internet goes down. Then it isn't. But yeah, I love Mario Kart 8. I've played it so much. I've played it to death. Maybe not as much the DLC tracks. The more I play the DLC tracks, the less I like them. But the main tracks, my God, they're so good, and I'm just so ready for the next Mario Kart. Maybe the next Mario Kart is the game I would choose to only have on my Switch too.
Yeah, this game, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, is a masterclass. It has been since I first started playing it over 10 years ago. At least the original version on Wii U. I remember being blown away by it back then. Not because it was like, oh my God, it's visually amazing, but just because it felt so tight. And I was never a big fan of Wii. So going from Wii, and yeah, there was 7 as well, you know. There was 7 as well, and 7 was all right, but it was on the 3DS. It was a small game. So then just go to what I thought at the time was 1080p, and it turned out was 720p. But even so, it was an HD Mario Kart, and it felt so tight and so responsive. It was incredible. And then later down the line, we got 200cc mode, and then 8 Deluxe with 2 items. It's incredible. I think it probably, if you were to try and distill things objectively, it's the best Mario Kart game. As objectively as you can even get in this instance. It's the one that has probably sold the most, let's be honest.
Probably. I mean, the graphical jump from Wii to 8 is so big. Like, it's immense. I prefer Wii just because I love the jank of it. And that, sometimes older games, they just do it for you. You grew up with them. You have all these memories. And you kind of get those memories again when you play them. What about you, Sian? Have you played a lot of Mario Kart 8?
I have, yeah, over the years. I mean, not as much online, but I definitely I'm excited to move on past Mario Kart 8. I think I'm not as big of a fan.
I get
it, just in general, but I'm excited to see what the future for Mario Kart brings.
We've got a real outlier here, which I absolutely love in this next one. This is from Butter0989. Great username, by the way. I would actually keep ARMS because its control scheme is so unique, and I have no idea if anything like it will appear on Switch too.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Great answer, and I can't say for certain that, it has maybe the replayability or longevity as other games that have been featured or other people have commented, but my God, what a great answer. I love ARMS, and it is really replayable, really great pick up and play, and there is nothing out there that I'm aware of that controls anything like it. It is so painfully unique, and I feel like it's such a missed opportunity that they didn't do more with it, because they had some DLC that was kind of drip-fed. It wasn't DLC, it was updates, wasn't it? It was updates, and they were good, don't get me wrong, but I still feel like providing more context to the world and things like that, because there's so much stuff there that's really rife. It gave him like a hub world, like Splatoon. I don't know how you do it. You wouldn't want to walk around as someone with arms like this necessarily. Maybe you would. Let us know with a comment down below. But yeah, great pick.
I mean, the Fortnite hub just kind of lets you like run around and shoot other players for fun and like dash into them. And I always have a lot of fun like sliding and dashing and trying to like knock them into the river or something. And I could see ARMS doing that and just like allowing you to just run around and punch everyone. And just
when I said hub, I was more like talking like the Splatoon one, so sort of single player, a way to navigate around.
I suppose that's fair. I would love to see that like become like a loading kind of like waiting hub as well. But
Yeah, ARMS Battle Royale. And the same ARM, we also like Ring Fit. It's probably also very unique.
Yeah.
that could also be a good pick.
That may not even work with Switch 2. We don't know yet. It's one of the most likely to not work.
A game that will work with Switch 2, though, is what Paul McSeol, S-E-O-L, said. Animal Crossing. Not only is it an incredibly delightful game, but it generates a mindfulness in me I really appreciate. It's slow and requires a commitment to the process to grow your island into the way you dream of it. Plus, it really brought my wife and I together during COVID, so it has some strong emotional ties for me as well. Not fast, not flashy, just simple, good fun. All of us can relate to that,
I was really hoping he was going to say not fast, not furious.
Only family.
Too fast for y'all, though, somehow, still.
That's a really, really good comment, Paul. Animal Crossing is also very much up there with the game I would pick. But yeah, I feel like every time you reach a point where the game is like, oh, I don't have anything more to do, you can just start a new island, and you get the same feeling as in the start. No, listen, Nintendo, why can't I make more islands? I absolutely do not. It's
because you will cheat, Alex. I'm Nintendo, and you'll take advantage of the system.
Why are you calling him Alex?
I mean Felix. Sorry. I'm doing the thing like all of our parents do, you know, by like call us the wrong.
My grandma does it all the time.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great pick. I love Animal Crossing, and New Horizons is just a brilliant example of the game. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, there's nothing to do. And I know where they're coming from, and I understand what they mean by that, but I do think it ignores all the new things that they brought in. Placing furniture outside, it sounds like a minor thing. It's not. It's just not okay.
Yeah.
Being able to terraform, things like that. Yep, there are some things that they could have expanded upon, improved upon, going to other islands and things like that, not interrupting everyone when one person comes to visit. But, I do think that at its core, it is an excellent Animal Crossing game. I really, really do.
Yeah, I've not gone back to a game like Animal Crossing New Leaf or GameCube or the Wii one or anything like that in years, since New Horizons came out. But I imagine if I did for, an extended period of time, I'd really be missing a lot of those added features that came with New Horizons. And I bet all of the feedback that they've gotten and all of the the refinements they've made to New Horizons over the years will make the next Animal Crossing game maybe the best one. I mean, I'm hopeful, but I think anyway, just for the record too, that would be my desert island game would be New Horizons.
Oh, spoilers!
Great.
Am I spoiling? Oh shoot!
No, it's
okay. I already said
what?
mine. That would just need Alex in the end. But let me talk about Animal Crossing also, because man, I just love it. For a long time, it was my most played game. I played it so much, and it was my introduction to Animal Crossing. As I also know so many other people, it sold gangbusters during COVID, and I think Nintendo and I realized just how popular Animal Crossing is, and I do think the next one will take a lot of what worked in New Horizons, but also expand on it. Give us more stores. Like, I think the reason why New Horizons feels so empty is that there's just not a lot of stuff to... Sure, there's a lot of furniture, but there's not a lot of stuff with, like, a purpose on the island. Like, yes, you get a cafe, but it's inside the museum. How cool would it be to be able to place the actual cafe on the island? I don't know. Like, just... There's so much more I feel like they can do with the series, and I cannot wait to see what the next iteration of Animal Crossing will be.
Yeah, being able to have the option between like putting your cafe in the museum or outside of it, or both. You've got two. I mean, what town doesn't have
coffee?
multiple?
Come on.
Yeah, every town has more coffee shops than insert establishment here.
Yeah,
but
game shops.
Oh yeah. Oh man,
there's no game shop in Animal Crossing, unfortunately.
But then if Brewster is in one of them, who's going to man the other?
Me.
The nephews.
The new character, Brewster.
Felix.
That's an original character. Do not steal. But what about your choice, Felix? What is your choice for your desert island game?
I've already said that.
Hades.
Yeah.
That means it's just down to little old me.
I love how it just came.
Smash Ultimate.
Nice.
Smash Ultimate, yeah. It's not necessarily, sort of, there are so many different games that I could choose, so many different games for so many different reasons. But in theory, if I could only play one game, Smash Ultimate. I can go through and do World of Light. again, you know, I've done it once and I wouldn't say that's enough. That feels unfair, but yeah, there's just so many different ways to play. You can fiddle around, you can just make, you know, with the echoes as well. Not the echoes, I mean the spirits. You can make ridiculous modes. I think I created one that was football themed for some reason. I think it was when we needed footage for something football related and we can, or something like that. And so I just put a load of only footballs spawn and, you know, or something like that.
Oliver
And that's
Benji.
like scratching the surface of what you can do with that game. It's frenetic, it's fun. As long as I can play it online, I'd have to go with that. But I've got to be honest, I'd rather have more than one game.
Very fair. Just like
A very
Charles SNC said, I have over 600 games for my Switch. Don't you dare make me choose.
I just want to know how Charles got 600 Switch games. We don't need to.
well. You go to the
don't-
eShop.
Anyway, that was what games we would pick and what games you would pick. We couldn't go through all 500 comments, but we went through as many as we could. Thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, why don't you only subscribe to our channel, because you can only choose one, and you would choose ours, correct? And also, yeah, don't forget to check out our website, nintendolife.com, for all sorts of Nintendo-related content. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the next one. Felix, Alex, and Sion from Nintendo Life, out.
Navi, are you recording?
When
All right, goodbye. Goodbye, Belly. When he's not around. Is that Elden Ring there on the
bye,
shelf? Look at this cool Pokemon card I got the other day.
Oh,